Look, first let me say that I recognize that most of the people on food stamps are American citizens. With that being said, this is a problem because we cannot continue to import people into our country that we have to pay for. And look, I recognize that this group of people represents a small percentage of the people who are actually on food stamps. But when 45% of a group is on food stamps, maybe they don't belong here, right? Because Afghani immigrants, 45% of them are on food stamps. Somali, 42%. Iraqi, 34%. Dominican, 34%. Caribbean, Native Americans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Black, Arab, Cambodian, Haitian. Like, we could keep going through this whole list. But this is not a viable long-term solution. We can't say, hey, come to America and we'll pay for you. That you can't survive as a nation doing that. And like I said, I'm not going to get drawn into some stupid fucking argument about, oh my God, it's mostly white people on food stamps. Yeah, well, our country is 60% white. So if it wasn't mostly white people on food stamps, that would blow my fucking mind. But we just have to be honest that we have to stop letting people come into this country who just want us to pay for them. This has to be fixed.
The reason why people are mad about food stamps is not because of children on food stamps or the elderly on food stamps or disabled people using food stamps. People are mad because there are over 40 million people using SNAP benefits. And if you think that all of those 40 plus million people should be on food stamps, then you are beyond naive. The fact of the matter is there is a massive amount of people who actively decide to make food stamps a permanent part of their budget, even though they are completely able-bodied and completely able to work a full-time job. We're frustrated because we see people who are free riding off of our hard work. Yeah, I don't feel bad for able-bodied people who actively decided to take advantage of their neighbors by making their neighbors pay for their groceries, even though they should be paying for their groceries. I don't feel like a bad person for thinking that those people are wrong. It's not selfish of me to want to keep more of my own money. It's selfish of those people to expect others to pay for them when they are perfectly able to support themselves. They simply choose not to.
Well, the truth is finally out, and it's hitting some MAGA harder than we all expected. For years, many MAGA supporters have been shouting that undocumented immigrants were draining Americans' welfare system. They swore that foreigners were living off food stamps while hardworking Americans got nothing. But now, with recent videos across social media, the truth has blown up right in their faces, and the majority of people on food stamp are actually American citizens. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Most of them are white. Yes, the same group that's been cheering for food stamp cut, mocking EBT users, and saying get a job, and now realizing they've been cutting off their own benefit without even knowing it. It's like watching someone saw off the very branch they are sitting on. Hi guys, welcome back again to the YouTube channel. It's so good to have you. Thank you so much for clicking when you saw this video. So I'm going to let the rest of the videos roll, then I'll come back with more commentary. Please do let me know what you all think in the comment section. Credit to all creators on this video. Let's go watch, then I'll come back with more.
I'm okay with being flamed in my comment section for saying this, but somebody need to say it because I keep seeing it all over the place. A lot of my clients, they're not black. A lot of the clients that are calling and cussing me out, they're not black. A lot of the clients that are showing up to the office and showing their tail, they're not black. The ones on the phone getting upset saying, how am I going to feed my kids? They're not black. I know y'all love some context in the video, but I think that's enough.
How is it that those who make $100,000 an hour have convinced those who make $30 an hour that the real problem is those who make $7 an hour? You know how many times the Bible tells us to go and care for the poor, care for the orphan, care for the foreigner? Between 400 and 2,500 times. Do you know how many times the Bible tells us to ask somebody, did you work today? Why didn't you go to work? Why do you have so many kids if you can't feed them? You don't look like you're disabled. Oh, you can't just walk? If you guessed 0, you are right on track. One of the most formative verses I've ever read comes from Leviticus chapter 19, verse 9. It says, when you harvest your grapes, do not harvest at the very ends, and don't go over your grapevines a second time. Leave it for the foreigner, for the widow, for the poor. And the same thing is kind of instructed to us again in Deuteronomy. Don't strip your vines bare. It is what we are called to do as a community and be as a people of God. SNAP benefits are ending in a few days, and it is so eerie that it's in the same time as All Saints. It's a time when we are to remember all who've come before us and all who will come after us. There's this really beautiful line of a sermon by Colleen Cook, and she says, one day you will walk past a mirror and somehow you will see their face, somehow transplanted on your own face. Somehow, one day you will walk by a mirror and you will see the face of every starving child in Gaza, every child that will go hungry next week in the US, every child and adult facing a genocide right now in Sudan. One day you will walk by a mirror and you will see their lines of their faces somehow transplanted on your own. The Bible never asks us to double check before we do good. The use of food banks is about to skyrocket. I work at a food bank every Tuesday, and since the pandemic, the food bank access here in Toronto has grown 340%. 40 million people used food banks here last year. And so your local food banks in the US, they're not going to be able to sustain the ending of SNAP benefits. So what do we do as Christians, as people of faith, as people who have a good moral compass? We donate to our food banks, right? Go out, buy fresh produce, buy meat, buy cans, and take it to your food bank. Take it to your food pantry. May God have mercy on us.
Now, the internet is full of clips and breakdowns showing the truth. Nearly 90% of them, receive food stamps. Many of them are citizens. Many of them live in small towns, rural America, red states, not just blue. They are not undocumented. They are not outsiders. They are Americans. Working class people who can't make ends meet without, because of wages haven't kept up with the cost of living. And that's what makes this revelation so painful. For years, MAGA supporters believe that taking food stamps away would teach people responsibility. They didn't realize they were voting to take food out of their own kids' mouth. They clapped when Trump talked about cutting entitlement, not realizing he was talking about the very programs that kept their families alive. They cheered for Wh1te, not realizing it would one day come knocking on their own door. Now social media is flooded with comments from shocked people saying things like, wait, my mom is on food stamp, or my grandma uses SNAP. I thought it was for illegals. The confusion is wide, but it's also a clear sign of how effective propaganda has been. People were so blinded by hate and misinformation that they never stopped to check the facts. The irony couldn't be more powerful. The same folks who yelled, build the wall and make America first are now realizing that America is exactly who's on food stamp. The lazy people they were mocking are undocumented. They are their neighbors, co-workers, and even family members. They are veteran, single moms, elderly citizens, and minimum wage workers who just can't keep up in an economy that only favors the wealthy. Let's be real, no one wakes up excited to apply for food stamp. It's not a luxury, it's a lifeline. But the MAGA crowd has spent years turning it into a shame game. They mocked people, especially poor people, for needing help, while ignoring the fact that many of them rely on same programs quietly. They thought welfare only belonged to someone else, but somehow they are the ones that it happened to be, right? Now that the truth is out, you would think they would, kind of be some humility, maybe an apology for all the ignorance and judgment. But instead, some are doubling down, saying things like, well, I didn't mean people like us. But that's the thing. The system doesn't care who you meant. When you vote to cut government aid, it affects everyone. There's no special exception for MAGA voters. It's more pathetic, in a sad way. For years, People try to warn them these cuts aren't about helping the economy, they are about hurting the poor and keeping people desperate. But too many were busy pointing fingers at immigrants instead of holding politicians accountable. And now the mask is off. That's the painful lesson here. Ignorance is expensive. Voting on emotion, fear, or hate always comes back around. The truth doesn't care about your politics, it just shows up and exposes everything. And the truth is this: the majority of people who need help in America are Americans. They are not others. They are the people you sit next to at work, the cashier at your local grocery store, the veteran down the street. They are the backbone of this country. The same people MAGA politicians pretend to fight for while quietly cutting their support behind closed doors. And now these people's eyes are opening. So now, as a MAGA supporters sit there, they're stunned, realizing they have voted away their own benefit. Maybe, just maybe, this will open some eyes. Maybe they will start to see that the problem isn't their neighbor, the immigrant, or the person on food stamp. The problem is a system built on division, a system that makes people fight over crumbs while billionaires feast. The truth hurts, but it's necessary, because once people see who's really struggling and who is really to blame, maybe they will stop mocking and start uniting. Because in the end, hunger doesn't care who you vote for, but yeah, it only cares about food. Guys, let me know what your own take are in the comments. I would really love to read from you guys. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up so that more people can see it. I look forward to seeing you all on my next video. Please do well to drop your take in the comments. I would love to read from you. See you all on my next, and credit to all creators on this video. Bye guys.